Welcome back to another episode of the Even Your Dynasty show. It is Tuesday, which means it is time for our weekly minor league update for the San Francisco Giants farm system. These will be for the games for July 29th through August 4th. I am going to have a lot of good Giants content coming out this week because we have had a ton of good action since I did the live show last Thursday with Dan. Blake Snell threw no hitter. Fitzgerald continues to hit homers at a ridiculous pace. Matt Chapman's heated up. Unfortunately, Elliot Ramos is dealing with a thumb injury. Some young kids coming up and giving some good things, giving some good production. So we've got a lot to talk about. I'm going to definitely do a Blake Snell video. I think that's going to come out tomorrow morning. Dan is definitely going to be joining me on Thursday, I believe, for a live show after the Washington series. Hopefully Ricky as well. I'm not sure who else is joining me that night. We'll also probably put out another video on Friday morning as well. So I've got kind of a ton of planned videos that I want to put out this week, but today is Tuesday, which means we're going to focus on the minor leagues. So welcome if you're listening on watching on YouTube. If you are, please hit the like, subscribe button if you enjoy the content we put out on this channel. It helps a lot with channel growth. We're up to like 610 or so subscribers now. I think my goal was to hit 700 by the end of the year, and I think we're going to hit that and some, honestly. So I appreciate you all you guys. Welcome also if you're listening on Spotify at Even Your Dynasty show there as well. Or, thanks for checking it out if you're finding these videos via X at EYD show. So starting off with the Sacramento Rivercats, they went 3-3 versus Reno. They are 58-50 on the season. You're going to start noticing that there's a lot fewer players on these lists, as the Giants have a lot of prospects that are actually up on the big league club, including their number 2 in Luciano, their number 4 in, their number 3 in Luciano, their number 4 in Hayden Birdsong, as well as, quite a few other young guys that we had been talking about earlier in the season, like Fitzgerald and Schmidt and, Encarnacion I had been talking about in recent weeks. So lots of young guys up on the club. So that's really good to see. But Carson Whisenhunt is still not pitching in Sacramento. He had an injury. It looks like he was throwing like a simulated game or in like some exhibition down in it's not the complex league. They're in Papago Stadium, so probably just some kind of simulated exhibition. But starting off with number 7 prospect Mason Black, he went 6 innings, gave up 1 earned run, 7 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, threw 77 pitches, 51 for strikes. Very efficient outing. Pitched around, quite a few hits, which is good to see him work through that, through strikes. Just nice to see him have a good outing. He has been struggling hard since he had those rough outings in San Francisco. So anytime seeing him have some success, it's really good to see. Landon Roop, he only threw 1 inning, gave up no earned runs, a walk, and a strikeout, no hits. He threw 2 starts last week. He only threw 1. I didn't see if he ended up, getting aggravating some kind of injury, and that's why he only went 1 inning. Almost feels like they're grooming him a little bit to be more out of the pen later this season. I think there's a chance we see him again. We'll see. Number 12 prospect Trevor McDonald, 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 7 hits, 4 strikeouts, threw 79 pitches, 54 for strikes. He struggled a little bit with efficiency since he's been in Sacramento, but he is still finding a lot of success, which is good to see. He works through trouble pretty well. His fastball slider combination's really good. He's a guy that I think we're going to see in the majors in 2025. I think that's going to happen. I don't know if it'll be out of the pen or the rotation. I don't think there's going to be a rotation spot for him, but they do continue to let him stretch out as a starter. So, time will tell there, but, his stuff is definitely major league caliber. He looks really good in AAA. Number 13 prospect, Grant McCray, 8 for 22, 3 doubles, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, and a home run robbery that was just awesome in left field. Yes, he was in left. The Rivercats kind of shift him and Bishop, and sometimes you'll see guys like Arback and some of those other guys cycle through center field, but mainly Bishop and McCray kind of split time there because they want these guys to be versatile and be able to play all three outfield positions. So McCray is probably the best center fielder in their system currently, but he was in left field for that play, and it looked really good. Now, Grant McCray is a guy that I think there is a decent chance that we're going to see him in San Francisco before the season ends. He might be like a September call up. I know they only expand the rosters now to 28 as opposed to 20, as opposed to 40 like they used to, and you get one extra position player and one extra pitcher. But he's kind of an ideal guy to bring up as that, 28th guy on the roster. If you just kind of think about it, the speed is there, the defense is there. Yes, his bat is a question mark, and his bat is probably not major league ready. He's got like a 91 WRC plus in AAA. Now he doesn't look overmatched. His strikeout rate's down, his walk rate's down a little bit. It's about 8.5%, which is still respectable. But for him, you want to see that walk rate up over 10 to 12%, because he's not going to be a big hit for average guy. He's probably going to be at best like a 230, 240, maybe a 250 hitter. So you kind of want that walk rate up, but it's really promising to see that he has the strikeout rate down about 24.7%. So it's better than you've seen kind of historically at different levels for him. Now, it's not a massive sample size, but it is a good sample size in AAA so far. But like the fact that he could be used as a defensive replacement. If you want to emphasize defense for a day, you can put him out in center field. You can have him pinch run late in games. And then, yeah, he can occasionally hit, and he has some sneaky power. He has the ability to hit a lot of extra base hits. He has, the speed to stretch singles into doubles. He has the speed to walk his way into a double or a triple. These are all reasons that he would be a really solid player to have up as that 28th guy in September as the, AAA season's coming to a close, and just give him the extra month, because they're going to have to add him to the 40-man. There's no chance he makes it through the Rule 5 draft next season if they don't add him to the 40-man. So if they want to keep him, they're going to have to add him to the 40-man. So I do see him as a guy that we could see in the not too distant future, probably more like September. I think he'd be valuable there. Number 15 prospect, Wade Meckler, 5 for 15, a double, a walk, 3 strikeouts. He's the other guy we might end up seeing. I just don't like the defense. I think he's more valuable if you're looking for a guy that can be also a pinch hitter, but I just don't like the defensive value or lack of defensive value out of Meckler. I think that's somewhere he needs to really improve before he ends up being a reserve outfielder in the majors. That's just my opinion. Number 17 prospect, Carson Seymour, 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 8 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 85 pitches, 54 of them for strikes. Under 15 pitches an inning, only 2 earned runs. They came on a 2-run home run that he gave up. And then outside of that, he pitched around everything really well. Fastball looked sharp, was sitting about mid-90s, a lot of 94, 95. Curveball looked good. Kind of got a few people chasing for strike threes. So as a whole, really good outing for him. He's also another guy. He's kind of in the high 4s ERA wise. He's struggled at times this season, but has also put together quite a few good starts, especially in San Francisco in Sacramento, where it's the most neutral of the stadiums in the PCL. Number 29 prospect, Carson Ragsdale. He started 2 games, 9 innings total between the two, 9 earned runs, 13 hits, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts on the week. He's continued to struggle a ton since coming up to Sacramento. He's making the adjustments to the PCL, tougher league to pitch in as a whole. Tighter zones, more lively parks. He's going to have to adjust. So, we'll see. He's a little bit older for a prospect, but hopefully next season we start to see him settle in a little bit better. Luis Matos went 7 for 26, had 2 doubles, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, controlling the zone a little better. One of the doubles, he hit 110.7 miles per hour off the bat. He just absolutely laced it to left field. So he's hitting some balls hard, swinging, making a little bit better swing decisions. That's really what it's going to be key for him. He needs to, more line drives, more using the whole field, better swing decisions. He needs to just stop trying to yank everything into the left field seats. I mean, it's working for some guys. You see Tyler Fitzgerald, who's really tapped into his pull power, and the pull side is going to be where his power is, but he needs to kind of let it come to him more as opposed to, trying to pull everything over the fence and left. I think that's been his biggest issue this season. Hunter Bishop, 3 for 19 with a triple and 6 strikeouts. He's been scuffling for about a month, it feels like. It'd be really good to see him get going again, but I'm just glad that he's been healthy all season and racking up plate appearances after having several lost seasons to his development. And then David Villar, he went 0 for 10, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts after he got sent back down to Sacramento. Moving on to Richmond, they went 2-4 versus Altoona. They are 47 and 55 on the season. Number 18 prospect Diego Velasquez went 6 for 24 with 2 doubles, a walk, 5 strikeouts. He has not looked overwhelmed since going to Richmond. Obviously, like the average isn't insane or anything since he's been there, but he's got a home run, a couple, several doubles. He doesn't look overmatched. It's really good to see. He's a guy that I think could be really successful in Richmond because he's not power dependent. He's more of an hit for average guy, and the big expansive parks could probably help him a lot, given that he's more of a line drive guy. Now he will hit it over your head, which is kind of what you need to see out of those guys. He has the power to get it over someone's head if they're playing him too shallow, but he's still not a big power guy, a big home run guy. Number 19 prospect Victor Barracoto, 3 for 19, a double and 8 strikeouts. I think he's in the running for one of the most disappointing players in the Giants system this season. After the season he had last season, I had really high hopes that he could continue showing the power. The power is mostly vanished. He has 7 home runs on the season after hitting 27 last season, including 14 in AA in like half the season. And he has 7. So I hope he gets going because the power is there. He's just not driving it and getting enough air under the ball on some of these. He's just most of his hits are line drives, which I'm not opposed to line drives, but certain guys like him that aren't going to be high average guys, you want to see a little bit more power out of them. Number 26 hitter Jairo Pomares, 6 for 22, a triple, a double, 6 strikeouts. He needs the one thing I've seen with him, his walk rate's incredibly low. He's not going to be a big average guy. He's going to hit 240, 250, but he's got a lot of power. You just kind of would like to see him be a little bit more selective. But for a 20, he just turned 24. He's probably going to be in AAA by the end of this season, if not starting next season. So he'll be knocking on the door at 24 years old. Kind of what you're hoping for out of that. Now, outfield's crowded. Their outfield situation is crowded. A lot of prospects up in the upper levels. Plus, they drafted a bunch of college bats for the outfield this season. So I'm not sure where he fits in. He may be a trade piece down the road, but I do expect to see him rise up the prospect rankings a little bit. He had been about 15th last season. I think I had seen him peak about 13th in the Giants top 30. He's number 26 right now. In the offseason, don't be shocked if we see him in the mid to late teens. Will Bednar, he went 1 2/3 innings, gave up 4 earned runs, 5 hits, a walk, 2 strikeouts. He's been struggling a ton. He's been struggling to throw strikes a ton his last 3 weeks, give or take. Needs to get that cleaned up because he has stuff. Like he has major league caliber stuff, especially as a reliever. He just needs to get in the zone, and he's struggling to do that right now. But they'll probably continue to push him up through the system. If he gets going for another week or two, don't be surprised if he makes a cameo in Sacramento. Probably going to make a push to try and be on the big league team as soon as sometime next season. But he's been struggling at least for the last few weeks in Richmond. Moving over to Eugene, they went 3-3 versus Everett. They are 49 and 52 on the season. Number 2 prospect Bryce Eldridge, 9 for 24, 2 home runs, a double, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts, and a stolen base. Kind of had the Bryce Eldridge mini breakout this week in Eugene. He has definitely not been overmatched for that level. For a 19-year-old who is one of the youngest players at that level currently, he's got a 137 WRC plus, meaning he's 37% better than league average at this time in high A. Now, the power hasn't shown a ton. He has only, I think, 3 home runs and a handful of doubles. Currently in Eugene, that's going to be the big sign, I think, for the Giants that he's figured the level out when the power numbers start showing up. but he's definitely not overmatched. He's hitting over 280, has like 830 OPS. Um, he's doing really well there. The walk rate is way up. He's got like I think it's 14 or 15% right now is the walk rate. The strikeout rate 27%, which is pretty close to inline. It's a tick higher than you're used to seeing out of him. It's usually in 25, 26 range for him, but it's still manageable, and he's still a super young prospect. He is just truly special power. And he is a guy that I know they've been talking about, a Vladdy trade. They were, toying with it at the deadline. They're toying with the idea of a Vladdy trade in the off season. And there was an article that was, some people kind of floated out there. Would you trade Bryce Eldridge for Vladdy? Assuming you can get an extension done with Vladdy. And to me, no, I would not. Absolutely not. Figure it out with other prospects. They have plenty of other prospects they can move and figure out a deal with those guys, because I want Vladdy and Bryce Eldridge in the middle of my lineup. That's my 3-4 right there. That's what I want. So I think, and it begs the question of where do you play him, but that's a you figure it out situation. But I think he's on track if he continues performing the way he has to starting next season in Richmond. Now, if he tails off, struggles, doesn't show enough of the power, don't be shocked if you see him in high A to start next season, and then he gets the quick promotion after like a month or so. But I do think he is on track currently to start next season in Double A, which is really exciting. Number 10 prospect, Joe Whitman, 3 1/3 innings, 5 earned runs, 5 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, through 74 pitches, 45 for strikes. Kind of a rough outing. He's had a couple of those recently. He had like 4 or 5 dominant outings when he first got promoted. He's been a little up and down since then. Let's see if he can settle in. Still a guy I'm super high on. Has to do some refining, but the stuff is all there. Hopefully, he continues to kind of shoot through the system a little bit, but hopefully we see a bounce back. I think he's supposed to pitch today, actually, for those of you that want to tune in to the high A game. You could see Joe Whitman pitch. Number 24 prospect, O'Neal Perez, 2 for 17, a walk, 4 strikeouts, 2 stolen bases. He's kind of struggled a lot in the second half. He was off to a scorching hot start first couple months of the season. He's kind of struggled a ton since then. Let's see if he can get going. I know few guys such as Blake Snell have given him high praise as a receiver back there. We'll see. I think he's the one guy in the system that I feel decent about as a potential backup down the road, but unfortunately, he's still a ways away. Number 25 prospect, Cole Foster, 2 for 11, 4 strikeouts, and a stolen base. Pretty uneventful week for him. Number 27 prospect, Jonah Cox, 4 for 17, a triple, a walk, 3 strikeouts, and 2 stolen bases. He's getting close to 60 stolen bases on the season. Absolutely insane between A ball and high A. Quinn McDaniel, 5 for 25, a home run, a double, a walk, 8 strikeouts, 3 stolen bases. You get the whole McDaniel experience in that stat line. Some power, some speed, and some, quite a bit of swing and miss. Hopefully he can keep, taking steps in the right direction, though. I do like him as a player. He's super toolsy. Smaller guy, but he's got some, carries a big stick, so to speak, has some nice power for his frame. He could be a really good second baseman down the road, but needs to clean up the swing and miss a little bit. Charlie Szykowny, 9 for 23, a home run, 4 doubles, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, 2 stolen bases. Shout out to Ricky. He actually made a comment the other day that I feel like kind of sums up Szykowny, and is he going to be this year's Wade Meckler that just rakes at every level? Older prospect that gets drafted last season and then just rakes through the system and moves really quickly. And he might be. He's having a really good, since he got to high A, he's having a really good season there after having a pretty good season in A ball. He's actually been better in high A. So shout out to him. I didn't write down the numbers, but I think it's Sabine Ceballos, the guy they traded for when they moved Jorge Soler and Luke Jackson. He actually hit 2 home runs. He had 2 home runs going into the season or going throughout the season, maybe 2 or 3, and he hit 2 this week for Eugene. So I don't have his full numbers, but shout out to him. He's been hitting the ball pretty hard since coming over. Moving over to San Jose, they went 2-4 versus Rancho Cucamonga. They they are 59-42 on the season. Their prospect pool is super light right now. Now it's getting bigger because there are a few guys that just moved over. Ryan Reckley, Walker Martin is listed on their roster. We'll see if he plays. I'd imagine you're going to see guys like James Tibbs come over and start playing there, and a few others. But right now it's pretty light. Number 28 prospect, Josh Bostic, 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 7 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts through 73 pitches, 52 for strikes. Lisbel Diaz had a really tough week, went 1 for 22, a double, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. And that hit came in like one of his first hit bats of the week. And then he just kind of took an O for the rest of the week. So rough time for him. Ryan Reckley made his San Jose debut this week, 1 for 12 with a walk and 7 strikeouts. It's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period, but I'm excited to get to see him play, nearly every day. Same thing with Walker Martin, who struck out a lot in the complex league. But now that, I can actually watch him play, I'm excited to see what he does. And then Robert Hipwell, who was their 6th-round pick out of Santa Clara this season. I think he was one of the early guys to signed really quickly after being drafted. So that's why he's kind of the first guy we're seeing from this draft class in professional ball. But he took a 3 for 11 with a home run, a double, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. So good to see out of him. And then we're going to, the Complex League wrapped up their season. The DCL is still going. And their number 20 prospect, Johnny Level, is having a lot of success down there. He took an 8 for 18 with 2 home runs, a double, 5 walks, and 2 strikeouts. He's been really good. I think he's only hitting 260, 270, but he's 17 years old down in the DCL. So he's a really young guy. You're going to see him probably in the Complex League next season. Yes, he wasn't the most highly rated guy out of the international signings, but kind of if you ever watched that international video I made back during the off season, kind of breaking down who they've gotten in the past, where they're ranked, and where some of the top guys have been ranked, it's a total crapshoot. So just like the draft, just like everything, it's a total crapshoot. So you never know when you're going to strike gold on one of these guys. And just so far, he's looked really good. So, and I know he's a guy that's drawn kind of Rafael Furcal comparisons for those of you that remember him, who was a really good player. I think he made a couple All-Stars, especially for Atlanta. He was really solid. So we'll see. It's exciting to see some of these young toolsy guys that are coming up and showing some really good things. So that's all I have for the minor league update today. Like I said, we're going to put a lot of content out this week. I have plans to do a Blake Snell video that'll come out tomorrow. We're also going to, I did miss NorCal Sports Network last week. I'm going to make sure I make it this week. I had some stuff going on early on Thursday, so I wasn't able to make that. And then we will do our live, I believe, Thursday night. I will get that nailed down, and I think for sure Dan's joining. We'll see if Ricky does. And then I'm hoping to put another video out Friday morning as well. So let me know if there's anything you guys want me to put out, any kind of topics you want me to cover, drop it in the comments. But I appreciate all you guys. Go Giants. They're back to 500. We'll see if they can get over the hump there and get on a run. Their schedule in August definitely favors them if they want to try and get on a little bit of a run here, because September is going to be a tough schedule, but they can set themselves up to kind of control their destiny in September. So go Giants. Hopefully they can take care of Washington this series, and we'll see what happens. All right. See you, everyone.